And from there, it was just a short hop to its current definition, which is idle talk and rumors and chatter. And here's the master of that, our Couri. Hey.
Okay, now, idle talk I'll go along with, but rumors, No. Now, Christie Brinkley, she remains Billy Joel's uptown girl, but of course she's still having dates with Daryl Hall from Halls and Oates. She's a $1 million model. Did you see her movie? Remember that National Lampoon Summer Vacation? She was awful. She thinks she was awful, too. Well, I think she could be in a silent movie, just those bathing suits slinking around. Not bad, huh? Well, the taxi driver thought she was pretty good, too, because he got her in the back of a cab. She was on her way to a booking in New York, and in New York, you can lock the taxis right up, tight. And from the back, and she tried to go out. The guy locked the door. She freaked out. At a red light, she rolled down the window and jumped out. Now she says it's limousines all the way. Okay, Daryl Hannah. She's also with a rock star, Jackson Brown. Did you see her in Splash? She plays the mermaid.
Splash, she plays the mermaid.
She actually says that when she was young, she tied her legs together as a kid and actually played a mermaid while she was a child. Now, at 4 years old, her parents got divorced, and she was actually, they thought she was semi-autistic. She went into real trauma. She was so shy, she went through a whole period where she couldn't even talk. When she was 11 years old, they called her a beanpole. She saw this guy driving a truck full of cattle back, and she said, well, where are they going with all these calves? She said, at 10 o'clock tomorrow, they're going to be veal. Well, poof, she became a vegetarian. Now, the girl that got her out of being shy and enabled her to go on to be an actress was Susan St. James. She gave her that confidence to go on. Did you see her in the movie The Pope of Greenwich Village?
She was in The Pope of Greenwich Village.
It's going to come out, okay? See, I caught him. Yeah, he saw it. It hasn't come out yet, but this is going to make her more than just a pretty face. She ran away to Los Angeles before also getting hot and just trying to try out life, and she was actually almost abducted into a semi-quasi-slavery ring. Sounds like it could be another movie. All right, Brooke Shields, she's getting ready to finish her.
Wait a minute, hold on. Semi-quasi, pseudo.
That's how she describes it. Apparently she was getting mixed up with a slavery ring, but she got out of it just in time. I think the movie of her life sounds like it's going to be pretty hot. Meanwhile, Brooke Shields is just finishing up her freshman year at Princeton. She's a self-described nerd. She says that all of her friends call her a nerd now because she's always got her nose in her books.
She's a book nerd.
She's a book nerd. She's still the pretty young thing of Michael Jackson, but let's face it, they are not sleeping together. They're very good friends. They are planning to perhaps do a clothing line together, make a movie or do a record, but let's face it, Brooke has got no steady beau right now, and as far as I know, she's still a virgin at the end of her first year. Not bad at college, huh? Pretty good. Anyway, she got in her class play after
She's going to Guinness College.
She got in her class play after 3 tryouts. It's called Revel Without a Cause. And of course, it's a comedy. She's in the chorus. If she works hard, maybe she'll make her way up to the leading role by the time she's a senior. My own pretty young thing, of course, Cornelia Guest. No list of hot, sexy ladies would be any good without her. My inspiration, Life magazine called her the Deb of the Century. She just got herself an ABC development deal. She's working on a record contract. She's got the 3 beauties. Cornelia has beauty, the 3 Bs, beauty, brains, and breeding. Kathleen Turner.
That first name, by the way, for those of you who aren't on the Evelyn Woods
C-O-R-N-E-L-I-A.
Cornelia Guest.
Cornelia Guest. Hi, honey. Anyway, Kathleen Turner, do you remember her in Body Heat?
See, that was more than was necessary.
With her, I always go too far. Anyway, with Body Heat, wait a minute. Kathleen Turner, she was in Body Heat. Well, she's a little upset. She says that no one ever remembers anything but her body or her face.
Or her
saw the movie. I remember it all. Anyway, her new picture, of course, is Romancing the Stone. She's getting a lot of good credit for this. She says, if you can believe it or not, she was a tomboy when she grew up. Anyway, while she was down there in the jungles...
I heard she was a tomboy when she grew up.
You're right. Hey, he's a good mimic, right? Okay, so listen to this. They were in the jungle of Mexico making this movie. It's not all fun. There was an avalanche, and she almost got killed. Her legs were bleeding. She barely got out of that in time. Part of the plot involves her finding this plane in the jungle. She's climbing over the wreckage. She slips. She cuts herself, stitches up the arm. She's free, single. She says she likes dark, good-looking Jewish men. I think we're both out on that, aren't we, on the Jewish part?
But I think she might like me.
Sounds like Sammy Davis
Jr. You think that's perfect. Now, being a hot and sexy woman can get you sometimes unwanted attention. Linda Evans was in San Francisco with her television husband, John Forsythe, who was also with his real-life wife. They were walking down the street, and all of a sudden, this group of punkers saw Linda. They attacked and knocked her purse to the floor. The purse went flying. They kept going because they didn't get the purse.
On the floor of the street?
This is right on the street. Right on the, you with me? The girl looks back and goes, my God, it's Linda Evans. Well, it's a girl punker who charges back trying to claw at Linda. Luckily, a doorman threw himself in between and stopped the girl, and they were able to dive into a taxi and escape.
The taxi guy closed the windows and said, uptown, girl.
That's the wrong one.
Another
okay,
story.
Is this too fast?
no?
Meanwhile, if beauty is your business, and for hot, sexy women it often is, their livelihood, and it's best to have a doctor, a plastic surgeon as a lover, or a best friend. Now, Victoria Principal has them both. She's got her lover and her best friend, Dr. Harry Glassman, and he's made sure, of course, that her eyes stay fresh and sparkling and up. They've been touched up. So when she needs plastic surgery, she can have it done at home in complete secrecy and privacy. That's a good way to do it. Meanwhile, Raquel Welch, Stephanie Powers, and Lisa Artman have all had their noses fixed. Did you know that? What about yours?
Well,
You
I heard
maybe
they had
could
them
use that.
all exchanged, and so now they...
That might be an idea. I don't think they can do that. Anyway, Lisa's love life is a little bit traumatic right now. Lisa was a Barry Bostwick for all those years, but it's kaput now, and she's free. Lonnie Anderson also has been under the knife. She went for a breast reduction. Can you, girls? Breast reduction, okay, all right. So she actually told me, she said, Couri, no one ever talked to my eyes. I don't know why. I don't know if they still do. But anyway, she is back with Burt Reynolds. I guess that means he never looks below her neck. That means Sally Fields is back on the shelf. I mean, this reminds me of the decision Burt made when he turned down Terms of Endearment to do The Man Who Loved Women, which is probably the worst decision. So he's back with Lonnie. And Sally, hi, honey.
You think it's a bad decision to put down Sally for Lonnie?
Personally,
No.
I'll take Sally.
No, he meant you were talking about the movie.
Well, I was talking about the comparative decision. Yeah, I really was. Anyway, Cher, she's had her breasts reshaped, too. After her pregnancy, she had them made smaller. She's had her skin peeled. Right now, she has braces on her teeth for all the world to see. Right at the Oscars, she had them there. She's not ashamed to fix herself up, even in public. What are the results? She looks fabulous, and she's got a younger lover. His name is Val Kilmer. Cher's 38, he's 26. I think that what young girls do for older men, young boys do for older girls. His new film called Top Secret, look for the jail scene. There on the wall, you'll see a picture of Cher. I hear the music. I think that means we're going.
Thank you. Thank you for that report. Coming up, the Eurythmics, Ralph Nader, Jim Hall. Well, here to be a big shot now, and not to represent any... With MGM and Metro Media, they disclaim whatever he might say in case we get in any trouble, because he spreads stuff.
They don't even
this is
pay
our
me.
Couri Hay.
But anyway, here we are.
Spread it and...
Okay, let's go. Now, last week we talked about hot women. Where are those twins? I need those twins, one on each side. Would help. Tonight we're going to talk about hot and sexy men. Of course, you guys aren't on the list. First of all, I think Robert Redford. What do you think, everybody? Robert Redford, right? He's 46 years old. He's still hot and sexy. I made my first movie with Robert Redford, The Great Gatsby. I was a fun seeker. I got pushed in a pool, screamed more champagne.
And they let you keep the jacket.
I got kicked off the set when I tried to interview him for Andy Warhol's Interview magazine, but it was kind of fun. His new movie, of course, the first screen appearance in 5 years, called The Natural. He'll play an aging baseball player. He lives in Provo, Utah, and you know what they call him around there? They call him Ordinary Bob, and that's about what he really is. There are no scandals. He doesn't take drugs. He doesn't chase women. I mean, it's really boring. There's no divorce. He and his wife are very happily married. They have 2 girls and 1 boy. He considers his wife and the girls his very best friends, his children. And when he gets too swell-headed, they all start yelling, "RR superstar, who the hell do you think you are?" And that's what they do. He is a reckless, pay attention, he is a reckless driver, and he loves to go like 90 miles an hour. I think he's trying to chase Paul Newman, superstardom, and he's got about 8 speeding tickets in Utah in the last few years. He also skis, as you do, illegally though, which I hope you don't. He takes a helicopter, he goes up to the top of these mountains where you're not supposed to ski, where the danger of avalanches. He goes down, they catch him, they give him a fine, but I think he can afford to pay it. He's pumping $20 million more into his Utah ski resort called Sundance. He's also building a big art center. On screen, he can be warm and sexy, but off screen, he can be cold and hostile. He once barked like a dog. Will you do that for me? Can you bark like a dog? Go ahead. He barked like a dog to scare away, his fans. I mean, it was like, back, the moon is not full. Let's talk about a real singing star. We'll go to Sting. How did I start this? Sting is 33 years old. His real name is Gordon Matthew Sumner. He's made $18 million in 4 years. It's more than you'll make in your whole career. He's the lead singer of the Police.
Let's get them together.
Hey, back. I resemble them. Sit down. Now look, Sting fights a lot between themselves, and the group is now going to take a year off. In fact, he claims that the drummer, Stuart Copeland, can't keep the beat. That's the problem I hear about you. Well, then get away. Anyway, and Stuart turns around and says Sting sings with no energy. They're going to take a year off. You'll see, of course, Sting in the movie Dune. He says singing comes first because he knows that's what he does well, but he still wants to act. His girlfriend's name is Trudy Styler. They've had a little baby, a little illegitimate baby called Michelle because he didn't marry her. In fact, Trudy was once the ex-friend of his ex-wife. It's a long story. He stays sexy by being vain, arrogant. He doesn't drink.
What are you?
Claims he doesn't take drugs.
Shame on you.
And he diets, which I never do. Calvin Klein, he's 41 years old. He makes $500 million a year just from the blue jeans. Now, you know that new underwear? Do you wear Calvin Klein underwear? Do you wear underwear?
Anyway, that's my double.
Anyway, Calvin says the underwear costs that extra money because your fall out the side. That's a quote from Calvin. Oh! Anyway, Calvin also said he has done everything, and he's done it with everybody he's ever wanted. Calvin Klein actually says he's had everyone he's wanted, and he's done everything he could to get it. When he wanted it, he got it. He didn't care what it cost or what it took, he got it. He says the best sex he's ever had is anonymous. Are you listening to this?
Is he related to Richard Simmons? That's what I want to know.
Hey, look, only with the muscles. Anyway, his current love is Kelly Rector.
Oh.
And
You can't say that on television.
that's not a comment on his sex life. That is the name of his girlfriend. Anyway, he said it works for him, and they're having a great sex life and a great time. And Calvin Klein is definitely one of the sexiest and richest, most powerful men in the world. Also, Michael Nader. Do you know who Michael Nader is? Lois, you know. He plays Dexter on Dynasty, Joan Collins' lover. On screen, not in real life. Right? Good looking? Okay, the producers of Dynasty wanted him to change his image. They say, grow your hair out, make your clothes more European. And the scar on his lip, they wanted to take the scar off. He said, no way. Anyway, they've broken up on the show, Joan and Dex, but look for them to get together next season. Now, he was had a very heavy drug problem. He went to Hollywood, to Beverly Hills High, and he was very high. He was a serious drug problem.
Oh, we don't want to hear
He now, what is it, Simon Says? What are these two? Hey. Can I leave now? Okay. Anyway, his girlfriend is 5 months pregnant. Her name is Robin, and they have no plans to get married. Meanwhile, Dex's mother is also missing. He's hired detectives to go out and look for her. And, you know, you pay me $5 a second to talk on the show, so pay attention. Prince Andrew is 24 years old. He's into softcore porn, but he and Chris Stark have now broken up, so he's available. He's just been in the United States visiting, kicking off the U.S. Olympic British entry into the Olympic scene. He went to the set of 2010, which is the sequel to 2001. And the director actually let him get into the boom.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, you'll have to see the movie.
Being
He got into the boom to do some serious directing, and he actually said it was one of the highlights of his life. He directed John Lithgow in a scene and helped film it. And I thought Prince Andrew did that and found it quite exciting. He also then went to visit Watts, which you know is a ghetto area here in California, and he picked up a white can of spray paint, saw a few reporters, and they are now white. I was not there. He does not like the press. Andrew likes me. Anyway, he said after he sprayed them all white, I enjoyed that. His favorite pastime is watching sea turtles mate. Now, that's right. That's right. Now, listen to me. They come out of the sea. He watches them. He's got a girl on each side. They come. They do their thing. He watches. He loves it. It's strange. What can I tell you? Michael Jackson says he gets some very strange fan letters. He says some of his letters are very nice, but some of this gossip is hot, man. Woo! He said that some of the letters are very nice, but some of the letters are very, very vulgar. He says some of them are not nice at all. He says some of these girls can get really funky. Michael said, Couri said, they say all this stuff they want to do to me. And all the stuff they're gonna do to me, and it scares him. He also gets a lot of marriage proposals. He always responds to marriage proposals. He responds like this: thank you for your beautiful letter. We will always love you. The royal we. I mean, he is the Prince of Pop. He says he doesn't like to break hearts. He says it's kind of a weird thing. He doesn't know quite how to handle it. You wouldn't have that adulation problem. But he gets letters. They wake up thinking about him. They go to bed thinking about him. No, they want to know something.
Is he still a virgin, Michael Jackson?
Yes. In my opinion.
You think he's still a virgin?
He is a virgin as far as male, female, sexual intercourse would be.
How about there's something else?
I think it's about what his sex life. Anyway, the reason...
Are you happy now? Are you happy now? Is this what you wanted?
All right, now listen. The reason he says, Michael says he has to sincerely be nice. And he is sincerely nice. He is sincerely nice. And the reason he says is because, you know, this kind of love-hate thing can reverse. And suddenly, Michael said, they can start to hate you and plot against you and actually want to hurt you. And Michael is a sincerely nice person. And I can be sincerely nasty if you don't watch it. Meanwhile,
Just when you thought
Michael
he was
loves...
asleep, to go back on the sofa.
Michael,
hair on his arm?
Michael loves...
Oh,
you got
thank
any hair on
God.
your chest? Michael loves... Don't show us, please. Michael loves children. He wants them of his own, but he still has to find the girl that loves him for himself and not just being Michael Jackson. Look for the album he's going to make with Mick Jagger. Did you make albums or what? Anyway, Michael Lambert. Have you seen Tarzan? Have you seen Greystoke yet? Have you girls seen him? Are you in love with him yet? No one's seen it. It's a great new film. And Michael Lambert's a star. He's 26 years old. He's American. His parents are French. My birthday said, I think my voice is changing. Anyway, he grew up in Europe.
Soon, don't worry.
Do you think so? You promise? Anyway, he grew up in Europe. He's single. He's free. He took the job in Greystoke because he says that they wanted real acting, not just a body. It took 6 months of preparation. He spent 2 hours a day taking English lessons, 3 hours a day doing gymnastics, and 4 hours a day chimping. Now, Lois, you can make a joke about that. Anyway, he said he wanted to really wanted to be a chimp and not just act like a chimp. And he said, the apes really can be dangerous. One minute they're kissing you, the next minute they are just like ripping your arm off. He actually, when Michael went to meet the head chimp, he actually had to get down on his knees and lower himself because he said, you do not look a chimp in the eye and challenge him or you're going to get yourself beat. Anyway, Michael went on to say that when you see the movie, he can't tell the real apes from the actors, and that actually, during the filming, he would start having a conversation with one of the apes who we thought was an actor, and the actor was an ape, and the ape was an actor. He really couldn't tell. Boy George, he thinks sex is dull and old-fashioned, like taking drugs. He says that he has no sex life, he works too hard. The only book he ever read was that biography of Tallulah Bankhead. Don't you know Tallulah Bankhead was a nymphomaniac? His new movie is called Electric Dreams. It'll be about a menage a trois, a man, I assume that's Boy George, a woman, and a computer. He still haggles over the price of dresses, even though he's a millionaire. Bargain, Boy George. That's it. I'm going home. Goodbye.
Okay, so half the people do like to gossip and half them don't, and this half does because this is our Couri Hay, and he specializes in that.
Angeline and I are going to get all the gossip together about you a little later, honey, because I want to know everything about the whole setup. And we talk about hot couples, so naturally we'll talk about Arsenio and Angeline. I want to break it right here first. Right here, they are now together. Get it back in there, honey. Goldie Hawn, okay? She's 38 years old. Her lover is Kurt Russell. He's 33. They met and fell in love while making the movie Swing Chefs. But they first met 17 years ago while they're making a Disney film. A Disney film. That's something, Angeline, we want you to make as a Disney film. The one and only original family band. That was the name of the film. And what they've done is become their own family band now. They are living together. The children of both from previous marriages are together. They've just bought themselves some land in Aspen. They're going to build a big house there and decorate. It'll be about $1 million commitment. They've been discussing marriage for quite a while now. Goldie doesn't think that little piece of paper is very important. She's been married twice. She says the bottom line of the whole thing is money. And she says, I always end up paying somebody a lot of money. And so she's sort of avoiding that marriage. But the kids on both sides want the marriage, and so they're talking about it. And, of course, they want a child together. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. Joan Collins, she's 50 years old. Her lover is Peter Holm. He's 36. They've been a hot couple now for about 6 months. There's no marriage plan. She doesn't want to give any of her money away. He can't go home to his native Sweden because of that diamond swindle thing he was slightly involved with. He does remain an international jeweler. George Hamilton, he's in his late 40s, is going out now with Catherine Oxenberg. She's in her early 20s. Remember that the story, the TV movie about Princess Di? She played Princess Di. Her mother's an actual real princess, Princess Elizabeth of Yugoslavia, who once was going out with Richard Burton.
There's a recurring theme here, isn't there?
There's a recurring theme here. And look for this. Now, Joan Collins' new long-lost daughter on Dynasty will be played by Catherine Oxenberg. So, and there's another Oxenberg, Christina Oxenberg. When Christina decides what she's going to do, watch out, because she's going to blow them all away. Al Pacino, he's 43 years old. He's going out with Kathleen Quinlan. She's an actress. She's 29. She was in the movie I Promised You a Rose Garden. Anyway, I don't know what she's promising him, but she was with him every day while they filmed the exciting Scarface. And now, give it to me, Angeline, give it to me. Now, he's been filming the American Buffalo play in Boston. It's kind of a boring play. It did win a lot of prizes, a lot of four-letter words. I didn't like it. But he's commuting every single day by plane from Boston to New York just to be with her. I think that's true love. Meanwhile, Carolyn Kennedy, she's in her 20s now. She's going out with Edwin Schlossberg. He's in his late 30s. He's an artist and a writer. The rumor of their marriage is totally false. They are not planning any marriage right now. She's very conservative. She's very Catholic. You know, all those Kennedys take marriage very conservatively. They do live together, and seriously, they've lived together for quite a while now. I predict maybe an engagement within a year. If they stay together a couple years, I think they might get married. He did provide a lot of he did console her a great deal after David Kennedy's death. And she does love him, but I'm just not sure if marriage is going to happen right now. If they do, for God's sake, Caroline, keep your maiden name or change his to Kennedy. Amy Irving, she's 30 years old. Steven Spielberg is 36. He, of course, is the famous director that did Star Wars and E.T. They're on again, off again. Romance is definitely on, and Amy is telling pals she hopes to be married by this time next year. She wants a baby, his baby. And if she gets him and the baby boy, it's hundreds of millions of dollars. She'll be one of the richest wives in the world because he's got big bucks.
They'll merchandise that thing.
They probably can.
A little Jedi and run around.
I think Amy's going to have a real live E.T. Elizabeth Taylor and Victor Lunar. Okay, now everyone predicted, oh, they're going to get married in China. Just remember she married in that cow patch when she remarried Richard Burton in Africa. Well, they did not get married in China. There's a real obstacle to this marriage. He's not an American citizen, and therefore he cannot practice law in America, and he does not want to be Elizabeth Taylor's gigolo. I mean, the man does work. And of course, Elizabeth does not want to live in Mexico. I can't see her down there. Do you know his real last name is Gonzalez? And somehow I don't see her as Liz Gonzalez either. Do you? What do you think? Angelina. Whoa.
She's
Linda.
doing the right thing by marrying near Rice.
Yes,
because she's a busy girl.
Linda Gray, she's 43 years old. Her lover is Paul Costanzo. He's 32 years old. He's a jazz musician. Now, this is a secret they kept better than a secret on Dallas. Go ahead, hit me with it, honey. They have really been out. Whoa, Angeline, whoa! They've really been together about a year. It's just come. I actually knew this I've known this since the very beginning, but I've kept it a secret. They're now living together. Get her back here. I see you. Let's get off her. And what are you doing with that foot, honey? What is this? Here, bite on that. Anyway, they've been living together in her house now since December. Guess who's paying the bills? But who cares? I know he's got something she wants and probably needs. Chris Atkins and Cindy Gibb, they're approximately, you catch up, about the same age. You remember that, of course, that he played Linda Gray's lover on Dallas, but that didn't quite click with the audience or Linda. I mean, that guy didn't look like he had hair around his leg. I mean, you know, right, Angeline? Meanwhile, they are just friends now. The romance is over. Andy Gibb and Judy Landers, they're both in their 20s. Hey, if Angeline can do this stuff with a rose, I can do this stuff. Give me that rose. Show me how to run that up and down my leg. Anyway, they met on a tennis court. Hey, are you into S&M, honey? Because I'm not. Maybe a little S. Are you an M or an S? Okay. Anyway, they met in a tennis court. They shared health food together. They took a trip to South Africa together. He says that she's the only one since Victoria Principal to really he's serious about. I guess those two both have that loose, sexy, busty image. You ought to date him if she gets over that. Anyway, they're having a long kiss-stints romance. He's in Las Vegas doing his show. She is in Germany doing her singing act with her sister Audrey Landers. They want to be the Dolly sisters of the 80s. Sean Penn, Listen to the Governor. Have you seen that movie? Interesting. I don't think there'll be any Oscar nominations for that one either. Racing with the Moon. Okay, they play on-screen lovers in this, and off-screen they're lovers too. Now, she's wearing an engagement ring. Have you ever worn an engagement ring, honey? Has anyone ever said, will you marry me? In seriousness?
Absolutely.
I want to hear everything from you later. Let's meet in my dressing room. Anyway, they're a little, unlike Angeline, they remain publicity shy. They don't talk together. They're making a new film. It's going to be called Honey Bear, I Think I Love You. Now, I hope this is not an example of their pillow talk because it's pretty juvenile. What are you talking about? Rod Stewart and Alana, as you know, they filed for divorce. She has had enough of Rod's playing around. He thinks she's sexy, but it's over. She says that divorce won't be a public spectacle. She doesn't want half his money, even a huge percentage of the money. Sure, Alana, sure. They were together about 6 years. She's now dating Joss Donnan. He's an agent and the son of the great director, Stanley Donnan, who directed Singin' in the Rain. Now, Rod, don't feel sorry for him because he left Alana for one of the most beautiful, sexy, gorgeous girls in the world. Her name is Kelly Ember. Now, this might be one for you, too, after that. Dustin Hoffman and Lisa. Well, Dustin, that's his wife, Lisa. He's as dedicated a daddy as he is an actor, and he's planning to close his hit Broadway show, Death of a Salesman, for 1 month, so he can be a good daddy. Right now, there's a whole thing happening where he wants to do 7 performances of Death of a Salesman as Willie Loman, all that makeup instead of 8, and there's some question whether they're going to let him do that. We'll have to see. But those are some of the hot couples. And next week, I'm not sure, but come back on Tuesday and I'll tell you something about Angeline. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll be right back with more. MGM or the station or the producers have found out. We have to say that in case he's ever wrong.
Oh.
He's the gossip guru, our Couri Hay. because what?
I've seen you eat on stage, anyway.
He takes one breath now, and then that's all. Okay, so go.
Well, I'm taking my time tonight because this is my morning outfit. That's with a U, not an R. And
what are you mourning for?
Well, it's our last show for the hiatus till we come back. And the news is we're going to get picked up. That's the inside track. So, congratulations. And I pledge to come back if you want me to.
Good, thank you.
But what happens if it doesn't? I mean, how do you feel? I mean, are you nervous, depressed, upset, suicidal?
No, I have a role in a film where I get hit with atomic radiation, and I don't think I have anything to worry about after that.
You're going to get picked up, at least on the street. Somebody else who got picked up was Paul. Paul McCartney's being hit with another paternity suit. There is a German singer out there named Bettina Hubers who claims to be his daughter. Now, actually, they made Paul submit to a blood test several years ago, and the test was negative, but she claims that he sent a lookalike. I actually think that her mother got taken in by the lookalike. Anyway, Prince Andrew was recently here in Beverly Hills at a gala, and it was a star-studded men's room. Now, there in the first position was Cary Grant. There were other stars just too big to mention. And in popped a paparazzi, not me, with a camera, and that's a pic that Thicke of the Night will show when we come back. Back from Red Hiatus. Prince William is going to have his second birthday. Little Princess Di's baby.
I think you just made up a word. I don't know how many of you caught that.
You get that?
Back from hiatus, and I don't.
Back from hiatus.
Jerry Lewis would understand that, but I.
You're talking about Jerry Lewis? I should think that's a name you wouldn't want to bring up.
What?
Anyway,
no.
Hey, I think you two would make a good team, you know, back to back.
Jerry Lewis did. Remember all those years ago? Those great films that he made, the juvenile, the delicate delinquent. He was wonderful.
Delinquent is right.
I'm a fan.
Princess Di's little baby is going to have his second birthday on June 21st. He will get his first Jaguar. It's a 2/5 miniature model with leather seats, a walnut dashboard, an electric motor. He'll buzz around the palace at a rumored cost of $84,000. It took 1,500 man-hours to make. Now, Cher, this is the same Cher that said last year, I am no longer preoccupied with material possessions, has just bought his and her fun off-the-road vehicles called Monteros. They cost $25,000 each. The one is for her and the other for her lover, Val Kimner. His is black, hers is white, has a computerized stereo, sheepskin interiors. You know about this stuff, right? Bronzed windows, so there'll be no, it doesn't want to cause any attention. She doesn't want any attention. Her hair is now magenta red. She's taken off her brace. She's going on opening her mouth. I think that's not only at home, but in public. Elizabeth Arden has sent out a new promotional campaign of their new eye fix for beautiful eyes. You came in one of those contests once. This is to keep your eye makeup on 24 hours a day, so when you're in bed, you can still be beautiful. And there have been press releases sent out to all the beauty editors and listing stars who have 24-hour glamorous eyes, such as Alan and Joan Collins. Audrey Hepburn, you're actually not in this. It's Boy George who's been listed in this campaign. So he's made it in makeup. This is now the official Elizabeth Arden seal. There's an American critic out there who has panned Boy George's recent American tour just to death. So Boy George sent him a letter sealed with a kiss, signed with love, and dedicated to a lovely Wally. Now that's English slang for idiot, something Boy George isn't. Christopher Reeve, who lives down the block from me, has a beautiful penthouse with a view of the Museum of Natural History. His neighbor also had a view of the Museum of Natural History, and when Chris moved in, he wrote a promise that he would do nothing to obstruct the neighbor's view. Well, Chris put up a fence, and the lawyers for the neighbors have now gone to court, and there's a lawsuit. Chris needs Superman to get out of this one. Katharine Hepburn has just written her first screenplay. Do you love this? Has written her first screenplay. It's semi-autobiographical. I'll say something about you later, but not when you're here, after you're gone. It's about her,
Don't do him any favors.
her relationship with, this is Katharine Hepburn's new autobiography, semi-autobiographical screenplay. It's about her 30-year relationship with her personal secretary, Phyllis Wilborn. Kate will play herself, and I can't wait for the plot line. It sounds interesting. I'm not sure what we're going to have here, but risque maybe. I don't know. Diane Keaton will make her directorial debut with a video cassette. You will now have Diane Keaton's Heaven. It's a collage of her impressions of what the afterlife will be, and she wrote it, and it'll be available in 1985. What she really ought to do is have dinner with Shirley MacLaine. David Bowie has just had the American Irish Society name a flower after him. It's called the Let's Dance Irish. You know, David's eyes are one color each, and so, like an iris, it has this different colors. And it's exclusive to you that he will now have a cameo role in a new film called Into the Night. 2 days' work, $1 million. That's the kind of film you ought to get. The director is John Landis. He did Twilight Zone. He's the one up for manslaughter. There'll be cameos by different Hollywood directors. I think these directors have gone in to do these cameos as an act of friendship for their beleaguered friend because that court case is still up. Okay, necrophiliacs, take note.
You know who you are.
Okay, you know who you are. There is a doll company out there that gets off on making dolls, not life-size, so don't get too excited up there, of dead stars. Now, they did Marilyn Monroe with a white mink and diamond earrings, and that's $6,500. Elvis Presley with a sequin jumpsuit and real gold jewelry. And now they're going to have James Dean in a leather jacket like Arsenio's. Oh, Arsenio's actually vinyl. Actually, he'll lean against a Porsche. It'll take 9 months to make, just like a real baby. Now, Jane Fonda. What do you think about Jane Fonda?
Don't ask.
Don't ask. Okay, well, she has become, tell me later, she has become America's foremost woman capitalist, in my opinion. She's worth an estimated $50 to $100 million, okay?
How can you have such a range? 50
well, because it's
I know most of you people would know between $50 million how much you're worth, right?
Okay.
What kind of a scoop is that?
You know what?
Somewhere between 50
You know what
and
J. Paul Getty said, if you can count it, you don't have it. Because of the way it's hidden through various corporations. I mean, her film company's taken in $500 million for her last 5 films. It's tricky, it's hidden. She has just moved from her very kind of nice 2-bedroom, kind of normal place into a fabulous Republican neighborhood with a huge WASP mansion. She also has 120 acres in Malibu, which serves as her little bit of retreat, where she tells visitors, as far as you can see, it's mine. Remember that 60s phrase? She said she just wanted a mountaintop and a little shack. Well, now she says, give me the mountaintop, but take the shack. Okay, let's have an update on the Jacksons. The tour is going to happen. Michael, who is suffering from, wake up, Alan, wake up!
No,
oh, God, this laid-back style of yours. Now, wake up, come on, wake up.
Okay.
You up?
I think.
Okay, come on, wake up. He's, refused to take painkillers. Do you take painkillers? Is that why you...
No, no.
This is my imitation of Alan Thicke. No.
Here's my imitation of you. Wake up, Alan, wake up! You
You gotta shake it a little more.
Okay, look, Michael's looking disapprovingly at this.
It's only because it's his last show that he acts like this. Anyway, Michael has... We woke him up, though. Did we wake him up? Okay. He's refused to take painkillers because he doesn't like drugs. The other one's Marlon, 27. He's married to Carol. He has 3 kids. He'll overdo the fireworks so they won't get burned. He's doing solo album, produces record. Jackie's the oldest. He's 32. He's the one that played for the Chicago White Sox. He jogs 10 miles a day, plays basketball with the Lakers. He's married to Enid, 1 son, adopted daughter. Okay, just forget it. Just go to the tour and see it and come back. We'll be back.
Yes.
But let's cross our fingers.
And
for
where
Michael.
is that? On his head, do you know?
Yes, it's right back here.
The most serious part. It's at the back.
Right at the back.
Okay.
I have no candle for you, but let me tell you who was at his side. The beautiful, the devastatingly charming and intelligent Brooke Shields. Now, they've been out several times, but I can guarantee you they're only holding hands and kissing on the cheek. He's also been seen with Jodie Foster, but to be honest, there's no sex going on here with Michael, with any of these girls. Now, a lot of the people, of course, have asked and talked about whether that Michael is gay. He answers this himself and has confided to me that he's not a homosexual. He's a devout Jehovah's Witness, which is very against that kind of action. He doesn't know why people would say this about him, and he wants everyone to know it's not true. My opinion is that he really doesn't do anything with anybody. I think his secret sex life can probably be better explained by, say, one of the popular tunes in his album Thriller, which would also tell you what he does on the way to the bank, because you know that Thriller has made him some $40 million. Now, if your doorbell rings one day and you see Michael Jackson there, what he might be selling you is his Jehovah's Witness Faith magazine called The Watchtower. He actually sells the magazine door to door. So if he rings the bell, you'll be there. Now, Michael's very thin. He doesn't really eat. In fact, he has kind of an aversion to food. He's almost anorexic, but borderline. But to see him eat's very, very strange to see him eat. He is a complete vegetarian, so when he does eat, it's salads and vegetables and things like that. Michael claims that he only has 2 whole friends in the whole world. Mostly what he does, he spends his time talking to his mannequins. He has mannequins, boys and girls, dressed up, and he runs around talking to them. He's an intensely private person. Now, when you become one of the most famous...
If he's that intensely private, how do you know this much? What are your sources?
Well, you know, I'd never tell you the source, but I'm telling you that what I'm telling you is true. Okay? We have some inside ways here.
How do we know that?
What he does
I challenge the... Because he's an American and he wouldn't lie.
Would you please sit on him?
Just don't look.
Okay? All right, now, I want to tell you also that what he likes to do most with his private time is go to Disney World or go to the zoo. When he goes sort of in full drag, sort of in costumes.
You know that?
He wears makeup and he likes to look like his fans want him to look. But basically, Michael states that his largest goal in life is to fulfill God's purpose. And he feels that although he didn't choose to sing or to dance, that's his role, and he wants to be the best at it. So I say, okay, Michael, and good luck. I know you'll blossom out and choose animal, vegetable, mineral, I don't care what you choose, but choose it and find happiness yourself.
Is it true that he has a Pirates of the Caribbean extravaganza?
In his next movie, this is something he desperately wants. In his next film contract, which we aren't ready to announce yet, but we'll tell you first, Alan, I promise, it's there that they will have to build him that $1 million ride. Now,
where would they build it?
In his backyard. Okay? As I said, when you become one of the most famous people in the world, you do close in. He's a very private person, and he's lived his whole life in the fantasy world, and I think we're going to see a lot more Michael Jackson. He's going to blossom and open up.
Hey,
meanwhile, Shirley MacLaine's medium, no. Shirley MacLaine's medium told her that if you take the role, and you should take the role in terms of endearment, and if you do, you'll win an Oscar. Well, I could have told her that. I wonder if the medium also told her to put 4 holes in her ears. 1, 2, 3, 4. She has little diamonds and gold earrings in all of them. Meanwhile, her brother, Warren Beatty, did not like her book, Out on a Limb. He thought she was way over the limb, talking about her psychic experiences. She has a mystery man in her life. He's a Frenchman. His name is George Benamar. And I saw her recently at the Golden Globes. And if she... well, it's a mystery because we don't really know.
Ridiculous.
Do you care? Do we care about the stars?
They have the right to hear. They have the right to hear. People have the right to hear.
Anyway...
Listen, I hate... It's a disgrace. Talk about prostitution. He is selling gossip. How do we know what he says is right? He's telling...
How many it's gossip? It's also publicity, and that's what some of these people's careers are based on.
Makes this stuff up.
You're a liar.
You're ridiculous. You're more... Oh, you get out.
Joan says if she gets fat, I'm going to go after her. Well, a friend of mine was visiting Elizabeth Taylor at her home in California recently and reported that she is very fat. I mean, you guys could wear the same size, okay? The problem is that poor Elizabeth Taylor shouldn't look like that. So the friend brought it up.
Why are you insulting my friend over here?
I'm having fun.
Come on.
I try to learn to be a comedian so that...
Try a little harder.
I'll try. Joan. Anyway, Elizabeth said, look, one thing at a time. She's given up pills, she's given up booze, so she's a little fat. Okay, all right, Liz, you've had your time, you're better now. It's time to get back to the fat farm and pull yourself together. We're all on your side, and I'm glad and agree that you can take one thing at a time. Meanwhile, Joan Rivers' acid tongue gets her in trouble, I'm sure, as his does, and she's been having death threats. She now has 3 or 4 bodyguards with her 24 hours a day. There have been some serious threats against her.
What kind of people make threats? Fans of people she attacks?
Oh, come on.
I bet this guy has got an anonymous finger. You know
I have never made a death threat, but I've had about 10 or 12 on my life because people
Talks
like
about
you
violence.
out there
You ever seen
don't
him
want
point
me to
that
have the
finger like
opportunity
that?
to voice my opinion, and neither does he.
I think you're right. He should shut up. Anyway, the point is that to keep her voice honey smooth, she uses honey every day. Not that much sweet ever comes out of her mouth, but she's afraid that she might develop nodes or polyps because part of her act, like your act, is to yell and to scream. So in her private life, she's speaking rather softly. Meanwhile, she and Chevy Chase have developed an incredibly huge feud. Chevy feels that Joan Rivers is vulgar, tasteless, exploits celebrities. I can say that, all right. How can Chevy Chase say that? He's the one that called Cary Grant a homo. Anyway, recently on filming a variety show, Chevy Chase was in the audience, and somebody in the audience said, hey, you or something like this, and Chevy starts sparring with him. Well, all of a sudden, these punk rockers, 3 of them, charge out of the audience, okay, get some ideas, and say to Chevy, do you know how to slam dance? And Chevy says, what do you mean? And they slammed Chevy to the floor. I mean, this was not an act. Now, Chevy thought he'd been set up by the producers, but the truth was these guys just slammed him down. Chevy pushed them off, but it was too late. He was on the floor. The security hustled out the disturbers, and Chevy went off the show and wouldn't do it anymore. So if there are any punk rockers out there, victim here.
Thanks a lot.
He won't dance, don't ask him.
Oh, and next Monday, I'm going to tell you what Cher's Tushy and Peter Oliver have in common.
Come on,